Once upon a time, in the heart of California, there lived a brilliant young coder named Ethan. Now, Ethan wasn't your typical computer whiz. See, he liked pizza and Star Wars, just like any other nerdy teen. But here's the twist. Ethan was also the new kid in town, and he couldn't speak English very well. That didn't stop him from conquering the world of coding, though. His story challenges us to think about courage, identity, and standing up for what's right, all while teaching us about computer science and coding. The grand prize, a scholarship to a prestigious tech summer camp. Ethan was intrigued. Could coding really take him places? Little did he know, this competition would change his life in ways he never imagined. Create a program to predict weather patterns based on historical data. Their ages, backgrounds, and personalities were as diverse as their coding styles. There was Maria, a tomboy with a passion for space. It was time to unveil his biggest secret. Taking a deep breath, he addressed the audience. I'm not a citizen. And tech companies offered him internships. But amidst the chaos, Ethan remained grounded. It was about finding his place in the world, proving his worth and inspiring others to chase their dreams, no matter how daunting they might seem. So remember, like Ethan, when life throws you lemons, don't just make lemonade, code a whole new app. And always remember, it's not where you start, it's where you have the courage to go. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time. He knew his journey was far from over. He still had to finish high school, choose a university, and navigate a future that was suddenly filled with possibilities. Life wasn't easier after revealing his secret. In fact, it had become more complicated. But Ethan was ready. He was stronger, more confident, and more connected than ever before. I'm just a regular kid who loves pizza and coding. The room was silent. Then, as if on cue, someone shouted, "Hooray!" Soon, the entire room echoed with cheers. People came up to him, congratulating him, asking questions. Even the governor of California was there, shaking his hand, praising his courage and determination. Carlos, who dreamed of creating virtual reality games. And then there was Noah, the class president, always eager to help others. After the third round, it was down to two, Ethan and Noah. The last challenge was to design a mobile application that solves a real-world problem. Noah chose to create an app to help with school schedules. Meanwhile, Ethan, inspired by his own experience, decided to make an app for language learning. Ethan's heart sank. Is this a trick question? Could he really do it? The doubt crept in. Maybe he wasn't cut out for this after all. He'd seen Ethan's dedication, his raw talent, and his kindness. Now he was about to see him shine on the biggest stage yet. The judges deliberated. The tension was palpable. Who would win? Noah, the popular student with a practical app, or Ethan, the quiet newcomer with a personal touch? Finally, the announcement. Ethan was the winner. He couldn't believe it. All those hours of practice, the sleepless nights, the fear of revealing his secret, it was all worth it. He'd won the scholarship, and most importantly, he'd proved to himself that he belonged. Looking around, he saw some contestants frantically typing. Others had already given up. The clock ticked. Time slipped away, and then an idea struck. Remember that cool algorithm he'd read about in a book? Could that work? With renewed determination, Ethan coded. He wrote line after line, each one a testament to his skill, his intellect, his sheer will. An hour passed. The room was silent except for the rhythmic tapping of keys. Finally, he was done. Hitting the submit button, he held his breath. As he delved deeper into the world of coding, Ethan found himself excelling. He placed first in the regional competition, earning him a spot in the state finals. It was exhilarating, but it meant he'd have to reveal himself. Ethan was terrified. He'd kept his secret for so long. The thought of revealing himself was nerve-wracking. You ready to dive in? Chapter 1. The code within Ethan adjusted his glasses, his eyes scanning the lines of code. He was in his element, lost in the world of ones and zeros. Back in Vietnam, life had been tough. Fleeing their country had been scary, but in America, Ethan found solace in coding. It was a world where his Vietnamese accent didn't matter, where he could communicate without words. Code was his language now. In fact, his foreign accent and unique perspective often helped him think of solutions that stumped his American peers. At school, he was known as the quiet kid with the incredible brain. But behind the scenes, he harbored a secret fear. He immersed himself in coding, dedicating every free moment to honing his skills. But as the finals approached, his anxiety grew. What if his teammates found out he wasn't a citizen? Could they help him, or would they betray him? The day of the competition arrived. As Ethan entered the hall, he saw rows of computers set up, each ready to be conquered. There were about 50 contestants from all across the state, all vying for the top spot. Among them were familiar faces from his school, but there were many he'd never seen before. Each had their own story, their own dreams, and their own anxieties. Some were loud and confident, while others, like Ethan, were quiet and reserved. The competition began. The first round consisted of basic coding tasks. Variables, loops, conditions, functions, everything that Ethan had learned, and more. The clock ticked, the keyboard clicked. One by one, the participants completed their tasks. Soon enough, Ethan had done it too. He looked up at the clock. 30 minutes. He'd solved the round in half the allotted time. A wave of confidence surged through him. Maybe he did belong. What if his classmates found out he wasn't a citizen? What if they discovered he was just a regular kid from Vietnam who loved pizza and video games? As he navigated the complexities of coding in high school, Ethan grappled with a question. How could he succeed without revealing his biggest secret? Picture this. You're at a coding competition, the championship round, but as he solved problems and moved through the rounds, he realized he was the only non-citizen left. Each victory brought him closer to the final round, meaning he'd soon have to reveal himself. Suddenly, it wasn't just about coding. It was about representing more than just himself. Now add another layer to this. Imagine being a young refugee who fled their home country to escape danger. Think about the challenges they faced, the risks they took, and the sacrifices they made just to have a chance at a better life. It's a lot to carry on someone's shoulders, especially when they're still figuring out life as a teenager. The problem seems almost impossible, but then suddenly, just as the timer's about to hit 0, you've cracked it. Your solution is elegant, efficient, and unlike any of your competitors. You feel invincible. But then comes the catch. To claim your victory, you have to reveal your identity. What would you do? Would you step forward and accept the applause, knowing your life might change forever? Or would you stay hidden, letting someone else take the spotlight? Well, for Ethan, this moment arrived sooner than he expected. He entered the state coding competition, hoping to test his skills. In the end, Ethan makes a decision that surprised everyone, including himself. One day, Mr. Williams, his computer science teacher, announced a coding competition. A world of ones and zeros in the weeks leading up to the competition, Ethan prepared tirelessly. But then came round 2. The task seemed impossible. Chapter 3. The reveal in the final round, Ethan found himself among the top 5 contestants. As they presented their projects, Mr. Williams, Ethan's teacher, watched with pride. Chapter 4. The full circle moment. As the applause subsided, Ethan stepped forward. The news of Ethan's victory spread like wildfire. Local newspapers ran stories about the coding prodigy from Vietnam. TV stations wanted interviews. Looking back, he realized that his journey was never just about coding.